Hello, my name is Zach Wilson. I am in the Rehabilitation Counseling Program at Maryville University. My story started off in my childhood. When I was a child, I wanted to be a karate teacher, which is funny because I don't think I got above a yellow belt, which is, I think, pretty low down there. When I was in sixth grade, my school counselor approached me and said that he'd like me to be part of a peer counseling group where essentially there were like four or five of us, and whenever there was conflict in the school, the students would come and meet with us as opposed to the regular counselor, and we try to settle the problem from within. That probably should have been a good indicator of what I was going to become, but things kind of didn't turn out that way at all. Throughout high school, I still thought that I would probably end up in some kind of like computer programming or some kind of software engineering kind of a field. And in my senior year of high school, my dad got diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a uncurable bone cancer. Um, that kind of had a pretty profound impact on our family and the way things were run, and it changed everything. So in that time, my dad had a social worker through the hospital, and that kind of inspired me. I was like, this is a really cool thing. This is something that I could potentially see myself going into if things don't work out with computer science. So when I went to Truman State University in 2013, I was a computer science major, and it did not go well. I did it for about 5 weeks, and I was ready to quit and be done. But my sister was a psychology major, and she pointed me in that direction and said, "You might like this." And I did. I did really well in the classes. I got along with everybody in the program really well, and I'm good with people, and that really kind of helped me along the way. All the while, I also had the support of my significant other. She, I've put her through a lot in the career changes and all the things that I've wanted to do in the last several years. Because there's still a couple more turns coming. And I started working at Preferred Family Healthcare, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the job. I think it was because I felt unqualified. I worked in an adult drug rehabilitation center, and I was teaching groups to people that I had no knowledge of what I was talking about. So I didn't feel secure in it, and I just had a terrible experience. So I eventually left the job, and I just felt inadequate. So I started looking for other possible outcomes. This led me to law enforcement, where at this point I enrolled in a police academy in eastern Missouri, thinking that this would be a positive thing for me. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know in what capacity, and that was not the right capacity for me. I actually, unfortunately, got to the point where I did get tasered in class, and it hurts. But that was unfortunately right before I left the academy and started looking for work. At that point, I started applying to different places that I could use my degree in psychology for, and I found Kreider Health Center, which I'm still there today. And when I started working there, I quickly realized that I can't do this sort of case management or social work kind of a position for forever. I don't think anybody can. So I quickly learned that I probably need to continue my education, and in doing so, I had a coworker who was attending Maryville University in the rehabilitation counseling program. So she told me about it. I looked into it, and I spoke to Dr. Keener, and he kind of helped me along the way and told me that this is probably a good thing for me. So I continued my education, and also in following that first fall semester in the spring, I did my practicum at Provident Life Crisis Services, where I was a crisis worker. I did that while I was also working at Kreider, so I kind of had a lot of responsibilities at that time, but that was a really great experience for me as well. I got to help people who were having thoughts of suicide, people at their most vulnerable times, and that was really rewarding for me. I learned a lot from it. It's something I want to continue to possibly do at some point in the future in the counseling world. Obviously, I have a huge interest in mental health, and that's kind of driven me to this point that that's what I want to do. Eventually, I will move to Kansas City. That's where my significant other is living. She's currently in medical school, so she's still got a little ways to go, but I plan on moving up there next fall, and hopefully getting some kind of counseling job. I'm hoping immediately out of grad school that I can take the NCE and hopefully pass and continue as a PLPC for my supervision hours and eventually become an LPC and hopefully continue to work in the mental health field. In this past year and a half, I've learned a lot about myself and who I am as a worker, as a student, just learning about myself. And I've learned that I really do like helping people. It's at its core, that's exactly what I want to do. And especially in the mental health capacity, I think it's really rewarding to help people get through some of their darkest times. And I've learned that I'm very productive and I can help people. I've seen a lot of change in a lot of people, and it's helped me really realize who I am and the potential I have in this field. So I'm hoping with some of these work skills that I've learned in the last year and a half that I can continue to grow as a clinician and be a great counselor one day.